Alrighty, well everyone, welcome to the Phoenix Masterclass. So today we're going to be focusing on the straight grip Phoenix. So you've got your three types, you've got your straight grip, your twisty and your cup. So we will be focusing on the straight grip. Each Phoenix has completely different techniques to them, and they all require kind of like a dedicated training focus because they have completely different demands on the body. So we're focusing on straight grip today. Yeah, so if you do have any injuries, look, you don't have to do everything in this class today. It's more about giving you the tools so that you can go away and work on your strength and your technique to be able to achieve the Phoenix. So general overview of what we're doing today. We're going to start with an overall, just a mobility warm-up, kind of top to toe. Let's just get everything moving. And then we're going to start to go again from head to toe, looking at the different demands that are placed on different areas of the body and strengthening and warming up those areas for the Phoenix. After that, then we'll head into some drills. So some sort of regressions or stepping stones that you can start to work on towards achieving the Phoenix. And then at the end, if there is anyone who is up to that point, we can have a little bit of a look at it. Okay, so does anyone have any questions first up before we get into it? No? I should just say too, everything that we're doing today, it doesn't just help your Phoenix, it will help you in other areas of pole too. So, you know, as you're going through, you might be like, oh, you know, that's something else that I can add into your training regime for, you know, other goals. And I'll give you a bit of an idea of what sort of it's looking at as we go through. And also, of course, you don't have to be up to getting your Phoenix either. So, you know, it just gives you that idea of what to focus on. You can join in on all the conditioning exercises, but if you get to the drills and they're a little bit too advanced for you, then that's okay, all right? Just take what you can out of this that is suitable for your level, and then you kind of have the stepping stones and the pathway in front of you laid out. So I think that's pretty much all the boring stuff out of the way. Let's jump on into it. So we're just going to start by doing a warm-up. If you're not planning on doing any pole today, if you're purely here to write notes, feel free to sit this one out. But if you are doing any of the conditioning, even if you're not planning on doing the pole stuff, then you can still join in on the warm-up just to kind of get everything moving. All right, so let's come on back. All right, so like I was saying, we're just gonna do a top to toe, just mobilization, get the body moving. So we're gonna start with some head rolls, so nice big neck circles. As you do these, really think about trying to press the shoulders down away from your ears. Don't let them kind of pinch up towards the ceiling. Nice big circles. Oh, you might feel a few little cracks come out. And reverse. Beautiful. All right. Excellent. Take your ear to one shoulder, hand over the top of that ear, apply gentle pressure, but more think about drawing your fingers towards the top of your head, so you're lengthening as opposed to kind of pushing straight down. So we're just going to sort of relieve some of the tension that we carry up top here in our upper traps. I find a lot of people get quite tight here, and if you are tight, it's going to cause you to sort of always have your shoulders up a little bit, and that's not the ideal position for pole. So we're just going to start by stretching them out. It's a good idea to do this before any pole session. And switching sides. Beautiful. Just lengthening out. Sometimes you can get a little massage too. Just help those muscles to loosen up a little bit. Beautiful. All right, we're going to take it into some shoulder rolls. So really big, pick up those elbows, really max out that circle. So make the circles as big as you can. Good. That's it. Try to keep your ribs down so you're not arching your back. All right, we want the shoulders to be doing the work, not the lower back. Beautiful. And reverse it. Oh yeah. That's it. Pick them. Squeeze the shoulders down at the back. Roll them forwards. Beautiful. And let's go. Turn those toes out. We're going to squat as we take those hands up and then back down again. And squat, little pulse. And up and up. Beautiful. One more. Good. All right. Now open that chest up. Hands on the knees. Arch the back as we come down. Drop the head. Come up through a curved spine. Opening the chest, looking forward, head comes down, roll over, come up through a curved back. That's it, knees out to the sides. Let's go, 2 more. Roll down. And 1 more. Beautiful, and take those hands back up again, and then we're going to circle it out. So draw nice big circles, hips and arms above the hips, going in the same direction. Nice big movements. Good, and change. Beautiful. Oh, circling out. Gorgeous. And now we're just going to go side to side, so elbow towards the hip. Okay, that's it. Side to side. Beautiful, and now rolling those wrists out. Good, leaving them halfway with those toes still turned out. We're going to start to squat. Now, what I want you to do is add in a rotation, okay? So as we're squatting down, we're rotating forwards and then rotating up. So forwards and up. Internal rotation, external rotation. Internal, external. Beautiful. That's it. Good job. And 1 more. Hold it down now, hands on hips. Straightening 1 leg at a time. We're going side to side. Beautiful. Keep it low. Good. Now we're going to add on a reach towards the corner of the bent leg. So reaching forwards over that bent knee. Excellent. Good. Coming up and over to a side reach. You can apply pressure to this hand that's on the leg, but try to make sure it's not directly on your knee, above or below. Good. Now we're going to draw some nice big arm circles. Now I don't want you to think about swinging. I want you to really try to use your muscles to draw this circle, okay? We're going to lead with the pinky finger as it goes back, thumb as it comes forward. Pinky as we go back, thumb as we come forward, following the hand with the eyes. Beautiful. And reverse the circle, thumb as we come down, pinky finger go back. So you have to kind of flip your hand over. Beautiful. Excellent. Come over to your side stretch and then changing sides. Beautiful. Reaching to the far wall, not to the floor, out to the wall. Ribs are down, and let's go. Circling this arm. So as I said just then, just trying to make sure your ribs stay down towards your hips so that you're not arching your back. Good. And reverse. Beautiful. Side stretch. Coming up and sinking down through the middle. Hands on the floor, straightening 1 leg at a time. Good. Just wiggling your hips out. Good. Excellent. Straightening both legs. Come up to a flat back. And we're just going to go up and down. Pulses, not bounces. So we're in control of the movement. Okay, at all times. So don't go to a bounce which is uncontrolled. You want to be using your muscles to work the movement. Good. Reaching forwards now. Nice flat back still. Okay. Think about trying to keep your belly button, sort of leading with your belly button so that you're reaching forwards. Good, now down to the floor. It doesn't mean you have to be able to touch the floor, okay? Main focus is flat back. So even if you can't, you don't want to use your hands, you can just focus on this nice flat back. Beautiful, hands on the ground, turn those toes out, and we're going to come over into a ninja lunge. Excellent. Beautiful, flexing and pointing that toe. You can see me still. Good, rotate over to a lunge. And back to a ninja squat. Over to a lunge. And back, try and keep that back hip nice and low. Rotate. And back, 1 more. Rotate. And back. Beautiful, good job. Come up to that lunge now. And hands on hips and little pulses down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Hand either side. Now we're going to be straightening and lunging. If you need blocks in either hand, you can, or if that's too hard still, you can come up and do it from a standing position if you are struggling with your flexibility to reach the floor. If you want to make it harder, flex that front foot. Keep that back nice and straight. Beautiful. Now both legs straight and come over to a ninja lunge on the other side. Good. Pointing and flexing that leg. Good. Rotate over to your lunge and rotating back to ninja. Rotate over to your lunge and back to ninja. And over to lunge, back to ninja. One more. Over to lunge and stay there. And now we're going to come up, hands on hips, little pulses down. Again, with control, we're not bouncing. 6, 7, 8, hands down either side. And now we're doing a triangle to lunge. So again, you can either use yoga blocks or do the standing version if you can't reach the ground. Option to flex the foot to make it harder. Beautiful, both legs straight. All right, hands down, backward to downward dog, pulsing those heels out. Excellent. So from here, we're now going to come over to a high plank and then push back to downward dog. Over to high plank, push back to downward dog. Good, so keep going. Now, an option to make it harder here is to come all the way over, drop the hips, keep the knees lifted to your cobra, and then push back from there. Okay, it's gonna make it a little bit harder. Otherwise, keep going with the first version. Beautiful, one more. Beautiful, walk those feet in. You can bend your knees. And coming up slowly. Beautiful, we'll leave it at that for now because we are going to be going into each body part from here. But grab a quick drink, okay, and prep your poles if you need. Now, I forgot to ask at the start, does everyone have a TheraBand? It's okay if you don't. I have other options, but if you've got one, grab one. Like I said, it's just let me know if you don't have one because I will have other options for you. Great. Excellent. Perfect, everyone's got one. Most pole dancers have them, don't they? It's kind of, and if you don't have one, get one. Put them in your pole bag. For those in Australia, get them cheap as chips from Kmart. And they're really a really useful tool. You don't need big heavy equipment. Little band is good enough. Beautiful, alrighty. So now, I do have a little notebook full of my notes because I like to be prepared. So if you see me glancing down at any stage, I think I have most of it memorized, but if you see me glancing down looking at a book, that's what it is, okay? All right, so we're going to start warming up the shoulders a little bit. So the first thing we want to do is work our external rotation. So I'll stand back so I'm in view. So we want to make sure that our external rotator, so that part of the rotator cuff group, is really strong for this movement, okay? There's quite a lot of external rotation required for this trick. Right from when we hold onto the pole at the start, just like your coil spins or your reverse grabs, you should be an external rotation there. Further, when we come through to the lift part or the handspring part, you should have external rotation through both arms there. So this is really important. Having said that, this is really important for most of pole. Okay, so because anytime we have our hand up, we do want that slight external rotation to be able to stabilize through the shoulder. So we're going to grab our band. We're going to hold it in our hands with the palms facing inwards, elbows in close to your side. Don't squeeze them in, but have them nice and close to your sides. Okay, now from here, I want you to think like you've got little laser beams in the sides of your shoulders, and you're just pointing them out to the sides of the room. So if your laser beam should point exactly in line with your shoulders, not be sort of coming forwards. All right, so laser beams on, and from there, we're going to, with holding the band, rotate the forearms outwards and then bring them back together. Okay, most of you know this exercise in some way, shape or form. You might know it one-handed, where you tie off one end of the band to the pole. All of that's fine. So I want everyone to keep going with that. Make sure that the forearms stay parallel to the floor and the elbows stay nice and still, okay, so they're not sort of winging and moving around. I'm just going to quickly talk through another option for those who don't have a band, okay, and that is we can lay on our side, place a pillow or something underneath your arm, and have some form of weight in this hand. Now that could just be a water bottle, okay, just something to add a little bit of weight, and from there you're doing the same thing, so lifting up and down. Okay, so that's just an option for those later on at home who may not have a band. Okay, everyone usually has some sort of cushion and water bottle. Beautiful. Alrighty, we've all done those. About 15 to 20 is good, yes. Try to do them before pole, like in general. Okay, it's a really good exercise. Okay, all right. Next exercise is going to continue to kind of work in that fashion, but it's just adding it a little bit, adding an element to it. So if you've ever watched the Pole Physio, who is a wonderful resource, she heavily advocates this particular exercise, and she calls it break the bar. Now this does work best with one of those closed loop bands, but you can still use these ones, okay? If you have a closed loop, hands in either side and putting pressure towards the outside of the band. If you have one like I have, place it in between the thumb and the rest of your fingers. Okay, we're gonna apply some tension. All right, we're gonna take the hands overhead and reach up towards the ceiling. All right, keeping that tension, you're going to rotate your hands in towards each other and then rotate them back to facing forwards. So rotating in and then out, okay? So keep going. Really try to focus on keeping that tension through the band and not letting it go lax. And try to also make sure, like I want you to really pay attention to that feeling of external rotation that you have through your shoulders as your hands turn inwards, okay? All right, so that's it, reaching towards the ceiling and then rotating in and out. So again, if you had the closed loop band, you'd be pressing out into the sides of the band. Okay, beautiful. And we're gonna do about 15 to 20 of those. Beautiful. That's it, keep our ribs down so that we don't try to use our lower back to compensate. Good job. Again, this is another one that you want to introduce before pretty much any of your pole training. Okay, excellent. Alrighty, so now when we are doing the Ayesha component of a Phoenix, we need to have not just strength through our arms, but we actually need to have good shoulder mobility. So we want to be able to take our hands up to 180 degrees above our head without having to kind of use your lower back to do it. So if you're sitting there and you're struggling to get your hands directly above your head, it means that you have to work a little bit more on your mobility to be able to bring your arms back here. So we're going to do a little exercise now that's going to work on that, and it's also going to help strengthen you in that end range of movement. Okay, so some people can get there, but they're not really strong in that position. And when we're upside down in this trick, we need to be strong in that position. Okay, because otherwise you can really start to stuff your shoulders. So this is called freestyle arms. So we're going to lay on our tummy. Now when you do it, you're going to have your forehead against the floor, okay? I'm just going to lift my head now so that you can actually hear me talk. All right, now when we're laying down, I want you to think about drawing your ribs to the hips at the front underneath you, just so that you're stopping yourself from arching through your lower back, okay? So we don't want to try to take over there. So just keep thinking about trying to tuck your pubic bone towards your ribs, all right? Our hands are going to go out overhead, palms facing down. And what we're going to do, I'll show you in a second. Forehead's going to go down, and then I'm going to start to lift my arms up and down like a little swimmer. Okay, so just have a watch. So head down, arms lifted, up and down. Okay, all right, so forehead just rests on the floor, and we're gonna do this for around about 40 seconds, okay? So that's it, laying on the floor, lifting up that belly button or scooping the pubic bone towards your belly button, and arms overhead, forehead on the floor, lift those hands off and paddle up and down. Now for some people, this is quite difficult. If you can't get that paddling action, just aim just a little tiny lift on one, like slow it down, okay? Little lift, down, little lift, down. Just work at your own pace. Okay, beautiful. Good job. Another 20 seconds or so. Excellent. Ah, dog's running around, I love it. And 3, 2, 1, and rest. Beautiful. How are we feeling? Cool, we're starting to feel nice and warm through our shoulders. Beautiful, don't worry, there's gonna be a little bit more work that they have to do, but I just wanna make sure we're nice and warm. Okay, all right, so the next thing we're going to start to work, now that we've looked at sort of the shoulder mobility and the stabilizing, is we're gonna break down the different components that the upper body has to do. So, when we're doing our Phoenix and you're coming up into your Ayesha, we have to have a really strong overhead push, where your hand is overhead and you are pushing. I find a lot of the time when people actually really struggle with the trick, this is the part where they're lacking, okay? And the shoulder is really kind of collapsing in and they don't have that strength to really be able to push away, because that's what's going to help you get up, okay? So we're going to do a few little exercises. Now in the warm up, this way, we did this plank to downward dog action, okay? And that is working that vertical push, all right? So if you found that difficult enough for you, you can remain at that level. I'm gonna show you a few other little additions here that will start to kind of work that strength a little bit more, okay? So we are going, I'll give you, there's a few like stepping stones, okay? So I'm just gonna start with one, get you moving on that, and then we'll see if you wanna progress to the next level, okay? So, next option up from the one that we did just before. Actually, you know what? This mat, I'm just gonna get rid of it because it kind of is a bit too stretchy and it can make things even harder, okay? All right, so from our plank position, now when we do our plank, make sure that our ribs, our hips and ribs, we're trying to bring them towards each other so that you're not arching through that lower back, okay? So, next option to make it harder is to take it into a one-handed motion. So one hand behind your back, pushing back to your downward dog, and then coming back. As we do this, we're trying to keep our hips facing towards the floor and not let them rotate out. Okay, so coming back down and back, okay? So, let's start with that. Let's just do 8 of those on each hand, and then I will give you the option to level up. Okay, beautiful, that's it. Keep the ribs down to the hips, pushing through. If this option is too hard for you, go back to 2 hands, work with what's best for you. Beautiful. And as you push back to the downward dog, I really want you to think about pushing away, okay, so that the shoulder comes up near the ear. All right, so we're really trying to push really far out of it so we're not collapsing in that shoulder. That's it, bum to the ceiling. Push that booty back. Excellent. Once you've done the 8 on one side, please switch and do the other side, except for those ladies that have wrist problems, of course. Excellent, that's it. Beautiful. Excellent. Great. All right. Now the additional component that these are actually working, which we will do a little bit more of later, is what we call anti-rotational strength. So when you're doing an Ayesha, and the Ayesha component in Phoenix, what a lot of people struggle with is that kind of rotation and need to cartwheel out of it. Or when you're doing the Phoenix, like if you're doing more of a Phoenix, if you're doing the Phoenix version, really struggling to kind of bring around to face the pole. So we want to work that anti-rotational strength, which is, you know, the body wants to fall towards gravity and we're going, not today, okay? And that's what this does, because when you lift that one hand up, your body wants to do this and collapse. And we're trying to really focus on keeping those hips nice and square. So this is a great exercise because it works the upper body as well as the core for Phoenix. Really great one. Okay, we're going to take it up a notch for those that want to. If that was enough for you, stay at that level, okay? But the next option we're going to do is we're going to do it from a side plank. Okay, so we come up to a side plank. We've got the hands underneath the shoulder. Hips are lifted, one foot in front of the other, and our other hand is reaching to the ceiling. Top leg is in front of the bottom leg. Okay, from there, we rotate over to our plank, push back, reach towards the opposite foot, and then circle back out to our side plank. Okay, circling back, reach towards the opposite foot, come back into your side plank. Now, when you're in your side plank, make sure those hips are not lowered like this. We're keeping a nice straight line underneath. Beautiful, we're gonna do 8 on each side. Excellent. Beautiful, everyone's doing really, really good. Well done. That's it, and like I said, if this is too much for you, go back to one of the previous versions, that is okay. Beautiful. This is giving you the tools where you're at. Excellent. Beautiful. Great, excellent. Excellent, everyone's doing fantastic. That's it, keep that under hip lifted. Reaching through, pushing out through that shoulder. Great job, everyone. Excellent. Beautiful. Fantastic. All right, so what that version does is a couple of different things. First of all, what it's doing is putting that bottom hand into an external rotation, which when we're in that Ayesha component of the lift, is what we need of this bottom hand. So it's externally rotated as it's pushing overhead. Okay, so it's putting that shoulder into that same position while we try to push, okay? The second thing it's doing is it's working what we call our lateral flexion strength, okay? So a fancy way of saying our side bending strength. So when we're coming up through the Phoenix lift through the Ayesha, we really want to be strong along the sides here because that's going to help us also to lift our hips up. All right. Some people do a version where they turn right out. I don't love that way. Some people are fine doing it, but for a lot of people that puts additional strain on the shoulders, and it's also harder to lift because it's putting your abdominals into a stretched position, which means they have to work so much harder to get your knees up and over, all right? So you'll see it later when we come to it, but when I lift up, I come through more of a sideways action and then rotate at the very end to bring the hips back in line with the pole. Okay, so this is really great for working that. Beautiful. All righty, now, the next one we're gonna do is diamond push-ups. All right, now this is going to help work that bicep strength that has to happen again through that push to get get our bum up. The hardest part of this trick, so a lot of what we do is centered on just trying to get those hips up in the air. All right, so for diamond push-ups, I'm gonna face you first. We're going to come into a downward dog type position, but we're going to make a little diamond with our hands and place that on the floor. Okay, so from our downward dog, get right up on your toes, and then I'm gonna try to bring my forehead down towards my diamond. So here, and push, okay? Here, and push. So from the side, down and push. All right, now, for those that want an additional challenge who really are getting closer to the Phoenix, I want you to actually try and hold that bent position for 3 seconds before pushing up. Okay, so that you're really then getting that bit of that fatigue into those biceps. Okay, they're holding that position, and then we actually have to go, well, then they're doing the eccentric movement, but we're making them nice and fatigued. Beautiful. Excellent. So it's actually the, yeah, I won't geek out on you, but it's also working the triceps here. My brain was focusing on a particular function of the muscles, but I won't go into all the details because otherwise we'll be here all day because I'll start geeking out. Excellent, good job. Excellent, 8 to 10 of these. If you were doing them at home, I would do 3 sets, but for now, I just want you to get a really good feel of these exercises. Beautiful. All righty. Yep, excellent. Beautiful. All right, standing up now. Then you come to the pole, all right? Now, when we are doing the lift part, we've obviously got the pull through the top arm and the push through the bottom arm. So now we're gonna really specifically work them a little bit more, starting with the pull. So that's this top arm. As we're lifting up, it's trying to really pull and bend, okay? So we're gonna take our feet slightly in front of the pole. Hand is at forehead height, other hand off the pole, and we're gonna take a seat down, and then we're gonna pull ourselves up again. Take a seat down, and pull ourselves up again, okay? That's it, so seated rows. Again, we're gonna do about 8 to 10 on each arm. If you're doing this back at home, I would, again, you could do 3 sets. For today though, I just wanna give you these tools, so we'll just do the 1 set on each side. Beautiful, that's it. Try to keep those feet in front of the pole a little bit to make it a little bit harder. There we go, beautiful, excellent. Good job. Try and sit the bum back away from the pole and then pull yourself in. There we go. Good job. Excellent, everyone. Beautiful. Okay. Last upper body exercise then, before we move down. Excellent, good job. Finishing off. While you're finishing off, I'll just start talking about the next one. So now we're gonna work the reverse. Okay, so this is the bottom hand. Again, that's pushing us up. So, stand behind the pole this time. We're gonna take it into a split grip, so pinky finger pointed down, and place that onto the pole. Shoulder is in line with the pole. Step the feet back and start with them further away. Harder as in closer together. Okay, so just start with them further away, see how you feel, and then if you want to level up, you can start to bring the feet in closer. What we're doing from there is we're aiming to bend the arm, bringing the elbow in towards the pole, and then pushing away again. So elbow towards the pole, pushing away. Now make sure that we keep a plank with the body and we're not leaving the booty out like this. Okay, so squeeze your bum, all right, and keep your body in one line. Again, we're gonna do 8 to 10 on each side. When you're playing along later at home, you can do 3 sets, but you're all doing really well. Wonderful, that's it. Everyone's being really good, no booties are popping out, that's good to see. Excellent, and of course those with the sore wrist, please don't do this on your bad wrist. Good job. That's it, keep that booty in. Squeeze your bum. Cool. Very good. Excellent. All right, we're gonna take it up to the core now, or sorry, down to the core I should say, we're up to the pole. All right, now we've all done pole crunches in some way, shape or form, I'm sure. So there's a couple of specific things that I want you to do with them for the purpose of Phoenix, okay? So, in our crunch position, oh, the pole is cold. All right, so from our crunch, what I really want you to focus on here is really trying to drive the knees up nice and quickly to the chest, and then slow controlled on the way down, okay? Because what we're trying to do is mimic when we come through in the Phoenix. You can't be slow with the knees. You really need to pull them into your chest as quick as you can. So we're trying to work on that kind of power aspect of the movement, okay, which you don't normally get through a lot of your straddle work. Okay, so up on our toes, hands in position, walk those toes out in front, ribs to hips at the front, and then we're going to knee drive, slow down. Knee drive, slow down. Okay, beautiful. And I just want you to do, again, about 8 on each side, because then I'm going to give you an option to level up. Well, 2 options to level up. Excellent. That's it, knees in. Now, of course, I would not be doing the drive aspect of it if you're not already really good at your crunches. Okay, so if you don't have control through your crunches, don't add the power element yet. Just focus on the control first. You always add the power after you can control the movement. Okay. Excellent. All right, option to level up. And again, only do this if you are ready for it, okay? What we're gonna do is with the crunch, we're gonna actually take our legs past the pole like this before we re-crunch up. So what that's gonna do is it's going to put our abdominal muscles into that slightly stretched position, okay, before they have to crunch up. So only do this, like I said, if you've already mastered the previous crunches. But what that is similar to is, so when we come through in our Phoenix, we are kind of in this position as we come through, okay? So you need to be able to crunch while you're in this sort of slightly more lengthened position. Does that make sense? Yeah? So to do our crunches now, okay, after we do one, we take the legs past the feet, past the pole, and then crunch from there. And crunch, and down. Okay, so it's sort of leveling it up. And if anyone is finding these still too easy, do them with one hand. That's it. Beautiful. Good job. Great, everyone. Perfect. Cool. Everyone's doing really well. Great, excellent. Good, so it's that ability to take yourself from that kind of arched back and then tilting your pelvis under to come over. If you're struggling with this movement, go back and do the normal crunches. I don't want anyone to get injured. Alrighty. So again, you could do 3 sets later on. For the moment, we're just gonna do the one sets so that we can get kind of through everything. And you know, when you're training all of this, it doesn't mean that you have to do all of these exercises in the one session. All of these exercises are going to help you, so you can spread them throughout the week if you choose. And like I said, they're not just gonna help Phoenix, they're gonna help other aspects as well. Okay, come on now, we're gonna do some Supermans now. So this is to add on, similar to what we did with the one-handed planks. It's gonna work that anti-rotational strength. It's just making it a little bit harder, sort of leveling you up a little bit. Okay, so from our plank position, I'm gonna face you guys. So we're in our plank, ribs to hips again, and I'm gonna shift the weight over to one side, and I'm gonna lift one hand up and lower it down, and then switch to the other side. Aiming to keep both hips facing towards the floor, so I'm not doing this and rocking and rolling the hips. All right, these stay facing towards the floor. If you want to make it a little bit harder, we want to go foot and hand at the same time. So opposite foot to opposite hand is the added option. Okay, so we're just gonna do about 10, so that's 5 on each side. Okay, really focus on keeping those ribs down to the hips at the front, so that we're not doing these ones where you're arching your back, okay? We want to keep a nice flat plank. The only thing that moves is the hands and the legs. The body, so your core, this part here, should not move, okay? We want it to be perfectly still. Oh, look, you can have a little bit of shake if you're working. Good, excellent. So this is working that anti-rotational strength I talked about before, where as you're lifting up, your body will kind of want to fall back out to the open side of your Ayesha. And you're saying, no, not today. Beautiful. Excellent. Beautiful. Really good job, everyone. All right. Let's move on down to the legs, hey? So, we need to have really strong hip flexors in this trick, because we're going to have to, as you all know, to really bring those knees up and then extend the legs out. So we need to be able to really drive through the legs to assist the rest of the body in getting up. The more components of the body we have working together in synergy, the better. We don't want one part to be lazy. So we're going to come up, stand beside the pole or just beside something that you can hold on to. All right, plant one foot down and extend the other leg forwards. All right, what we're gonna do then, keeping the hips nice and level, we're going to lift one leg up as high as you can and then pulse it up and down again. Okay, for 10. All right, let's actually wait, I've got a few people gonna stand up, but waiting to see what we were doing. Let's do it all together. We're gonna do it for 10 seconds. Let's go. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower it down and give yourself a bit of a massage. If your quad started to cramp a little bit, you're gonna switch to the other side. Okay, opposite leg. And let's lift it up and pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower it down and give yourself a little bit of a massage. So, I mean, you can also do the little leg lifts on the floor that everyone knows and loves, but this is just a little bit different, okay? So mixing it up a little bit. All right, now, let's actually, how much time have I got? Okay, I have a really bad habit of running over time, I'm sorry. But we'll just keep going for now. The other thing I just wanted to quickly work now, and it's only for for a little part of the trick, but it's actually, we want to work out glute muscles, because at the start of the trick, when we come out to the side, you want to really be able to squeeze your bum and bring your feet back in line with your body. I find a lot of people, when we do the first part, because they don't do that, they're kind of like this. Legs are forward and it kind of just sets you up wrong from the get-go. So when we first take off, we want our bum to be really squeezing so that we really maintain this straight line to the pole, okay? So this is a little trick called, well, this is kind of to go with those freestyle arms that we did at the start. We can do freestyle legs. So again, we're gonna lay on the floor. You place your hands in front of you so that you can rest your forehead on them. I'm just gonna show you looking up at you for now so that my voice doesn't get lost. But what we're going to do is squeeze the bum so the knees lift off the floor and then kick the legs up and down. Okay, so you know, you would usually do this for about 45 seconds to a minute, but I just want you guys to have a feel of this for now, okay? And if you have really good function through your glutes, you may not have to include this exercise necessarily, but this is for those people that really struggle with that initial setup and kind of already start with the legs forwards. We want to be able to squeeze the bum, get the feet back behind you or in line with you. And if you wanted to, you can come and add the freestyle arms in too, as we did earlier. Anyone wants a little challenge? That's it. Let's just go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Okay, drink of water. All righty. Last little sets of exercises, and then we're going to move on to the drills. Okay, so I did do this particular exercise in the Ragdoll Masterclass. So if you've already kind of done that one, you'll be familiar with this, but this is the prep. So I actually want you to work on the next level up, but I'm just going to go over this preparation exercise for those that missed it, so that then you can add on to it from there. Okay, and this is teaser preparation. Okay, so we start sitting on our bum, feet in front of you, knees squeezed together, and the hands behind you so that you can open up through the chest. Okay, so the preparation here is that we are going to lift the feet off the floor, and if you can, extend them straight. If it's too much for you, you can stay down here with the legs bent. Okay, and then for those that are ready for the next level after that, we actually, after we pike, we open to straddle, bring it back to pike and down. Okay, so just have a quick play with that because I actually want to add on. I just want to make sure you're familiar with this movement first before we add on. Excellent, good job. All right, perfect. So now we're going to come to teaser. So now we start laying on our back, our legs are in tabletop position and our hands are overhead. So what we have to do now is we're adding the crunch component in, okay? So we're going to sit up, okay? First option is to stay with the legs there. Second option is to come straight away and extend the legs. If it's available to you, you can open to the straddle. You might want to bring your arms in front and back, and then lowering down again. So we have a few different levels of difficulty. Option one is you can stay where we were. Okay, option two is we curl up to sit on the tailbone and then curl back down to the tabletop. Next option is to curl up and extend to our V and then go back down, or the third option is to add the V in, back, and then come back down. Okay, so have a bit of a play, find the option that suits you, and we're gonna do about 8 to 10 of those. Good job. That's it, really try and sit high on the tailbone when you come up to that teaser position, okay? So we don't wanna be sort of like in this position where you're curved and you're sort of back heading towards your spine. We want to be sitting right up on the tailbone with a nice flat back. Okay, so you get a nice little V shape happening. If you have tight hamstrings, this will be a little bit harder. Okay, and you might have to do it with bent legs. Good job. Excellent. Fantastic exercise. This one, it's going to work your hip flexors and your core. Beautiful. Great. Wonderful. Oh, there's a bit of synchro work going up there too. Yeah. I love it. All right, we're gonna do some drills now for those that are ready. So you would have seen the prerequisites before this. So before you even look at attempting a Phoenix, you obviously have to have a really good Ayesha, okay? And you wanna have a really solid coil spin or reverse grab spin as well. Even though the technique for this is slightly different, there are components of that particular spin which you need for this. Okay, so the very first drill that you wanna work is Ayesha lowers, okay, or the eccentric component. So what we want to do is from our Ayesha, I'll show you in a moment, we're lowering down as far as you can with control and pulling back up again, okay, because this is going to help. There's like this sticking point that you get to in your Phoenix where you're sort of halfway up and you just can't get that last little bit, and this is really going to help with that, okay? So I'm Make sure I'm in frame, okay? All right, so from our Ayesha, now we can start with legs bent. We're going to start to lower out, lengthening through that top arm, and then pull back up again. Lowering out, oops, a little bit slippery on the top hand, so if you get slippery like I did, please come down. Okay, so what I'm doing, this top arm is bent in my Ayesha, and I'm slowly lowering and pulling back up, and lowering and pulling back up. Okay, so for those that want to have a go of this, that have a strong Ayesha, and I mean strong, you can have a little bit of a play with that now. Now, obviously, normally I would get everyone to do both sides. For the sake of time today, you can pick your favorite side, but I would suggest that afterwards you have a little bit of a play on your other side as well. Okay, so easier option is to start with the knees bent here. And once you feel confident lowering and coming back up with legs bent, then you can go to the straight legs option. You don't have to go all the way out into an Iron X because we don't pull up through an Iron X in this. You are sort of bent in, okay? It's just that kind of tipping point that you get to. We're working the top half of that, okay? It's gonna come into the zone where my voice gets distorted. Really push up through that bottom, really push up through that bottom shoulder, Kristen. Sort of collapsing a little bit here through the shoulder, the bottom of hand, so just make sure you're really pushing away with it. Okay. Good. Vanessa, think bum out, bum in. Bum out, bum in. Not sort of down the front side. Good, Liz. Really good. Excellent. Whoops, sorry. I've got to remember not to speak in front of the yoga block because my voice will get distorted. Good, Sharon. Oop. Good, Maya. Beautiful. All right, let's move on. So really useful drill, not only going to help you with your Phoenix, obviously would help towards iron, like your Iron X's, your deadlifts, everything like that. So really great exercise. Now we're going to come to the front part of the trick. This is actually quite tricky and intricate. So let's just talk through it first of all, and then we'll come back to the drills. Okay, so I've mentioned earlier that that reverse grab spin is a prerequisite. Now with that trick, that is quite a circular motion. The Phoenix is a pendulum, okay? So it's not circular, it's up and down, okay? The reason why it's a prerequisite is because of the demands of the shoulder, and the way you need to be able to get your distance from the pole are the same. Okay, so when we come into our Phoenix, what we're going to be doing is trying to come out in a straight line, in line with the pole, as high as we can. So we're going to try and get that momentum to be able to really reach up to the corner, okay? Now, just like any pendulum, what goes up must come down. So we're trying to get that height, because if you get your hips up on this side, they're going to come back through and you're going to get height on the other side, which means there's less work you have to do to get your ass up, okay? So the more higher you get on that side, the more help you get on the other side of the pole. If you stay in really close, you're going to have to work a whole lot harder to get yourself up on the other side, okay? So, and we will do some drills on this in a moment, but let's just talk it through. So we're reaching up high to the corner. What happens then is we start to turn towards the pole as we come past. Now, this is the next thing that people get stuck with. They put this hand on too early. This hand should come on as you're passing the pole. Okay, I'm just gonna do it on the other side for now. So I reach out, as I'm coming back through, it comes on as I'm coming past, and then it helps to push me out on the other side. Okay, so a lot of people put it on while their body's still on this side, and it's a hell of a lot of pressure through that arm, and you're also kind of killing your momentum. Okay, we wanna harness that momentum and use it, not stifle it, all right? So we come up into our, I'm gonna call this starfish, okay? Which we will do drills on in a second. Hand comes on as we go past the pole, and then we start to push up with our chest facing forwards. And once our hips are kind of at the sticking point, that's when we rotate towards the pole. Okay, so that's it kind of walked through. So let's do a few drills. Let's start with the pendulum, okay? Now, first things first, make sure you got a grippy pole. If it's in the middle of winter or anywhere and your pole's really grippy, it's probably gonna be a bit slippery. So a couple of things I like to do is either split your fingers and like a cat on a scratching post, you can go up and down. So what that's doing is getting the pole nice and warm, which will make it easier to grip. Or you can start by doing just lots of normal spins. Again, we're just about creating that friction because a warmer pole is a grippier pole. Probably should have said this at the start, but I think most of you know, pole should be on static, please. Okay, we're not doing this on a spinning pole, that's dangerous. All right, so just make sure your pole's nice and grippy. All right, so our pendulum. I'm gonna start with the hand that I want to be my top hand in the Ayesha, the one closest to the ceiling, that is on the pole. Okay, and I'm facing the pole. Now, as I take off, I'm stepping in line, if not only ever so slightly in front of the pole. Not too far forwards, okay, but just maybe slightly past in line. Okay, now I'm going to reach up for the corner, trying to bring myself in line with the pole, reaching really high. Now, you can either do starfish legs, which I tend to do, or I've also seen some people do one leg up, one leg pointed towards each other. Both is fine, okay? So you can sort of find what feels more natural on you, but we're gonna try to really just work on the height. So we're gonna go for the height, and then I just want you to step back through. So what we're gonna do is go reach and step down. Okay, I'm just looking for that height. All right, up. Really important. Make sure as you hold onto the pole, our shoulder's in external rotation. Means we're stabilizing through our shoulder then, okay? So as we do this, I'm externally rotating to keep my shoulder engaged. All right? Good. Really try and straighten those legs. It's not just a pretty thing. It's about our engagement. Good. Excellent. Beautiful. We'll add on the next step. So, next step is, so we have that first part. Now we're gonna add on this bottom hand coming on. So as we pass the pole, the hand's gonna come on, and you're just going to kind of push out to the side, but we're not going to lift, okay? We're just working on that little component. I just realize I'm always like picking the towel up with my toes. Okay, so just watching. We're going out. Whoop, a little bit slippery there. So I'll actually face the other way too. It might be better for you to see when the hand passes onto the pole. Okay. So you go out and down. Okay, and I'll do one more back the other way so you can see different angles. We're going out, push to the front and down. So see how I'm pushing till I'm facing the front, but I'm not going for the lift yet. Okay. So let's have a little squiz. For those that want to, obviously at any point here you can stop, okay? This is not about everyone getting it today, it's about having the roadmap. Good, 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 Vanessa, excellent. The key really is in that confidence of that first part of the pendulum. I tend to find if you're doing this and your legs are coming forward, it means you're scared and you're not actually getting as much height as what you can be getting. Okay, so really reaching out. Think like, here's a visual. Think like you're, Spider-Man and he's reaching and he's, you know, shooting the spider web forwards. So as you're coming through, it's like you're swinging on one bit of your web and you're trying to reach out to shoot the other bit of web, okay? So you're really trying to reach out from the pole, almost as if you're going to try and grab something and then keep swinging. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah? Good. We have a look, sis. Excellent. There's some great pendulums going up there, my little duo. Good. Yes, Vanessa. Excellent. Good, Liz. I think Maya's a little bit chopped off. I couldn't see your hand. Okay. Good. Now, I'll add on and then I'll come back and keep looking, but I'm just going to give the next little part, so those that need it can have it. So the next step is we do start to add the crunch and the lift. Okay, so come out and we've come through and we're pushing out to the other side. Now, like I said earlier, some people do it from this turned out position. That's going to make your life a hell of a lot harder. So ideally, we want to actually start lifting through our side and only rotate at that last little bit when our hips are sort of already past that sticking point. It was sort of as we go through the sticking point where we're turning. Okay. Now, what you want, if you're harnessing that power properly, as you put this hand on and you're coming up to the other side, you should actually feel like it's not having to push straight away in the terms of how to explain this. The momentum is still behind your body. If you're feeling like from the minute you put your hand on, you're having to muscle into it, you haven't got that set up quite right. So for the first part of that lift, your momentum should actually be helping you go still. So the arm is sort of, it's still coming on, it's still getting ready, it's still starting to extend and push, but it's not having to carry the load. Does that make sense? I have some nods, or I know people are muted, but just give me a nod if that makes sense. Oh, hang on, I've got a question. Does this mean initially, ideally, when you turned around with the bottom hand on, your hips should be high enough? So not when the hand comes on. I'll do it in a moment properly. But when we come through, when the hand goes on, our hips are still high, but because we've got this height up here, just like, you know, those balls you see, so we've come up here, the momentum should take us up there, okay? So the hand is coming on as we're in low, but we've still got all this momentum in that shouldn't kind of die until our hips are at the same height as where we started. Does that make sense? So you should have this much momentum before it stops. So ideally, you want to have enough height on that side that our hips get up here before we even have to really push. Make sense? Kind of? I'll show you and it might make a little bit more sense. Let me just do a couple little grip testers, make sure that I'm feeling sticky and I'm not. It's very hot here at the moment. We just had a bit of a heat wave, so my hands are a little bit worse than normal. Okay. All right. Maybe best for me to show this way, I think. I'll show a few angles if we need to. Okay, so reach, whoop, nope, hang on. Ooh. I always misjudge how high up I actually reach when I do this. So I'll warm up part of the pole forgetting that I usually reach a bit higher. Okay. All right, so out, on, up, there. So I kind of stopped, then I held myself at the point where my momentum stopped. So did you see how high up my hips got? Now, obviously, we're aiming to push past that, but I just wanted to show you that if we get the setup right, that's how high you get with the momentum helping you. Okay, I'll do it again the other way. Okay, and reach, hand on, up. So see, halfway. All right, which means that we still have to continue pushing through that shoulder to get yourself up, but there's not as much work you have to do. Okay, hang on, I need a quick drink of water. Sorry. Oh, my voice is a bit croaky. Where did my towel go? Okay, so if that makes sense, as you saw then, we're aiming to get that height, okay? And try to hold it a bit like I did. Okay, so we dive out, we come through, hand on as we pass, push out and kind of try and hold it at the point where your momentum stops. And we want to try to avoid having any kind of downward back motion to the pole. All right, so that's the next step. And then from that, I'm just explaining it now so then we can work on it. Then once you're comfortable coming through, finding that sticking point, then we start to rotate the hips towards the pole and open into your straddle. Okay, so let me show those two steps again. I'll start with the one I just did before with the sticking point. I think this direction's better for you to see the timing of the hand that goes on. Okay, out, up, and down. Okay, from there, we have the rotation. So once I'm able to safely hold that, that's where now this bottom shoulder really has to start pushing in. So you know how I talked about, really trying to push away, shoulder towards the ear, that we're aiming for that real solid push through as I'm pulling up through the top shoulder, rotating the hips to the pole and extending the legs. It's a lot, I know. Okay, but let's have a look. I think this angle again was better. Tell me if it's not, I can do it from different angles. Okay. Oh, poles today are very, okay. Nope, one more wipe, sorry. Ugh. I also haven't put any grip on. Okay. All right. That's better. And out, through, and extend, and down. Okay, so the last little part is push through the bottom shoulder, rotate to the hips of the pole and extend the legs. Yes, question?
So I seem to have the problem as I came around. My hips are low, but my body seems to be still over the other side of the pole rather than in that sort of Ayesha, more head upside down position.
Can I have a look? Is that okay? Yep. Sorry, move back behind my line where the audio can hear. So, might be easier on the pole actually. So you're sort of at this sticking point with the shoulders. I'll try to see if I can show you in just like an Ayesha, okay? So you're sort of in this position where the shoulder's still almost like a little collapsed. So we need to keep pushing through till there's this nice straight line through here. So it's a push through here and it's also this hand helping, okay? So that's gonna take us, do you see that extra little push I just put through my shoulder? Did you see that, or was that slow enough? Yeah? I'm trying to.
That does make sense. I think, yeah, I'm not pushing enough, not pulling enough, so my body couldn't turn enough.
Yes, yeah. So it's just that last little bit of being able to push through the shoulder. So all of that downward dog type exercises is really good. Another one you can even do if you've got access to weights is you can have some sort of weight in your hand and we push it and we straighten the arm, punch towards the ceiling, back down and here. Up, punch and down. Or of course you can do handstand shrugs. Handstand shrugs are also a really good one to help sort of get that working. Okay. Oh, what's dancing? There's some sort of dancing going on. What's happening? Did someone get it?
You got it with the magic finger.
Ah! And sometimes it's a mental thing, isn't it? You know, I know like there was this, you know those aerial cartwheels where your hands don't touch the ground? Have you ever seen them? I remember when I was learning them, if my coach was standing right beside me, I could do it. The minute he even took a step back, my hands would just go to the ground. I had to know he was there right beside me. How are we going? Let's have a quick look at anyone else who wants some feedback. So yeah, let's just recap. Oh, yep. Sorry, there was someone going. Grip, grip, grip. Good. I feel like, Kristen, there's just a little bit of hesitation still on your first little pendulum. There's like the tiniest bit of hesitation where your body doesn't really want to fully commit to the extension.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look,
It's just fear in my head.
oh, 100%. Like that is a huge element. So one of the things I was just about to say is one of the first real sticking point I find people get in terms of getting this trick is that first pendulum part and really trusting themselves to get out. And you know what? It might be hand grip that's an issue. So, you know, like me, I do little tester ones first where I don't fully commit. I just check and see how my grip is before trying the full thing. But that's where your pendulums can come in to really help. Not pendulums, sorry. Coil spins, reverse grab spins, sorry. Because even though they're circular, you can still be really working on trying to get yourself out as far as you can from the pole. Yeah? So really trying to reach to like imagine that there's a magnet on the outside, on the wall, on the outside of you, and it's trying to pull you away from the pole. Yeah? So just practicing them can help to build your confidence. Like I know before I did this, I got to a point where I was really confident, all my rag dolls, all of those spins where I was just out from the pole. So yeah, if you're getting stuck on this one, it's good to go back and work on your rag dolls and things like that, because that's going to set you up to get over that fear. So there's that. Second sticking point is usually the timing of putting on the bottom arm. The next sticking point is usually that shoulder not pushing enough. Okay, or if people aren't quite strong enough for the crunch that's involved either. But the shoulder is the one that, even when people are strong, it might let them down because it's just struggling to kind of get that correct engagement. Okay. Actually, one more quick drill that can help for the shoulder issues is, because I find that people that have this issue, it'll also be happening in their caterpillar climbs. So you can kind of do this little drill. All right. So when you do your caterpillars, so push up from here. You can leave the other hand on if you want, but I want you to think about, so we're going to do like little shoulder shrugs in this position. Okay, so claps, push, lower, push, lower, push. Okay, so that's, sort of putting yourself into that similar position that you'll be in and really working that shoulder push that has to happen. Okay, yes, question?
I also find that the vertical push, I seem to be okay with. It's like caterpillar climb or handstand. I seem to be okay with the direct overhead push. But when Phoenix, the body's still slightly sideways. I just don't understand that push.
What was that? Can you just say that last bit of what you said? I got the part up until you said you've got the overhead push, and then the audio did like a little crackle and I couldn't hear properly.
So in Phoenix, before I could do that push properly. I find my body is slightly in a different position in relation to the hands, to the arm. So I just don't know how to cue myself to push more. Do you have any rules or tips for that?
Okay, so that's probably because when you're not in a full vertical push when you first come on, you're in like kind of in between a horizontal and a vertical push. You're kind of in that realm there. So a couple of things you can do depending on level of difficulty. So one is if you've got a strong enough band, that is you can give it some resistance and take it from horizontal to vertical. Okay, so we're working between there. You could also do it with weights. I just like this because of the direction of the tension. So I like a band. You just have to make sure that you have like the right level band, you know, so that's why I like to get a pack of them, because you can kind of, you know, go through and find the right one. So I'm just standing on it, holding it out to the side, keep the ribs down so you don't compensate with the lower back, take it overhead and down, and really think about, as you take it overhead, reaching to the ceiling and down and reach and down. Okay, so it's going to kind of put yourself in that similar position. So you want the tension to be there right from when your hand is out to the side. So you might have to adjust the tension a little bit. So you should already be feeling it when your hand is out sideways. Yes, and then take it up and down and up. That's it, beautiful. Great. Excellent. Cool, did you feel that? Yep, cool. Also that side plank to downward dog, that will help because we're coming from our arm being out to the side and then we're pushing through. Yeah, so working those as well will assist you in that way. Yeah? Any other questions? Beautiful. Oop. Oh, so close. It's just that last little pelvic tilt. Yeah? Just really think about trying to bring your hoo-ha to your belly button. Okay, so really tucking that pelvis under. Sometimes I find when you're at that stage where you're close, extend your legs. That can help that last little bit. Sorry, I'm not sure if it was Sharon or who's in the black in that group. Oh, Vanessa, that's cool. Yeah. Up. Extend. There, yes. So tuck the pelvis, extend the legs. You got that. All right, I'm looking at some other squares while we're here. Vanessa, can you do one more for me? One more. Sorry, I know, you're probably like, that's what they all say. Okay. Vanessa, I think you can harness a little bit more from your setup, okay? So when you're doing the first pendulum part, you're sort of doing that thing with the hips forward a little bit, and you're sort of, it's like, I reckon you get like another 20% too in your height, okay? So think like a Spider-Man, like we're really trying to reach out. So you're sort of, if you look at my shoulder angle here, you're there where we want to be here, okay? Now, the hips are also kind of in this realm, which means that there's so what that means is your body's kind of doing this a little bit, yeah? So it's that hesitating almost. We want to be, yeah, nice and open. So we want that reaching for the ceiling. We want that squeezing of the bottom so that we're really open, okay? And then we're going to pull in from there. Okay, because that setup will help just to get a little bit more height on the other side for you. Okay. Sorry, my voice, I was sick last week and I think my voice is still a little bit affected. Pull up through your top arm now, Vanessa. I know, look, I know there is so many components of this, and I am more than happy for you guys to take videos, send them to me, and I'll tell you like, sorry, what is the little thing that you next need to work on, because there is 10 million things that have to happen in this trick. And I've always kind of said when it comes to straight grip Phoenix, out of the three, it requires the least amount of strength, but technically and time-wise, it's almost the hardest, because everything kind of has to happen the right timing, the right reach, the right height for it to sort of pay off. And you can't sort of, like if you're missing that one little bit, it makes it really difficult. Yeah. Okay. All right, everyone. We'll have to, oh my God, look at the time. I just realized the time. We have to wrap things up. Sorry. Okay, so finishing up, let's just do a couple of little stretches, okay? Forearm against the pole, let's take a step forwards. Good. And then we're gonna lower that down. We're gonna come into a side stretch. So lengthening out through the side here, make sure our ribs stay down. Okay, that's it. And coming to the other side. And out. Good. Come up, let's stretch out those forearms. And just a side little note while we're stretching out here, really check your engagement with that kind of external rotation when you come into any spin. Right from your beginner spins, if you find that that's something that you were kind of missing, that's going to have an effect on this trick, particularly if you're finding difficulty with the grip and holding on. So if you don't have that external rotation, it's a lot easier to kind of slip off, changing sides. So just start to really try and incorporate that into any spin that you do. Okay, and down. Alrighty, if you do want to do any more stretches, please do so. I have gone well over time, so we'll have to leave it there. Get home to my little toddler. So thank you all so much for coming. I hope you got something out of it. And I mean, I really enjoyed having you guys. So yeah, have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you later. Mwah! Love to all. Bye. I can't get